Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Exploring Shasta County History. I'm your host, Jeremy M. Tuggle. Today I'm out in the historic town of Old Shasta in Shasta County, California, visiting a historic site, the site in which the Shasta City Meat Market stood on. There's only one thing remaining of it, though, that's of interest, is a 1850s cold storage cellar that is still here today on the lot. But this lot is where the Shasta City Meat Market stood.
Pioneer settlers Lorenz Garecht and Peter Hoff purchased the meat market formerly called the Washington Market, which was previously owned and operated by George G. Winters. They also purchased another market in Shasta which was operated by the late firm of John Klotz and Company as well. They kept the name Washington Market even though the parent company was L. Garecht and Company, and this establishment lasted until their partnership dissolved in 1871. When Hoff bought out Garecht's interest within the business. This is when the store was renamed by Hoff as the City Market. The market featured a cold storage cellar which stored their meat for them. It was dug out by the early owners. Although local historians claim Hoff was the man who dug out this cold storage cellar, however, it was constantly used by each owner before and after Hoff owned and operated the butcher market. In August of 1878, this meat market was destroyed by fire. By September 14, 1878, Hoff rebuilt his city meat market and resumed business upon the site of the original structure. 2 years later, Hoff brought on local pioneer resident Harmon Prackle as an owner of the city market, and by September of 1881, Prackle became the sole owner of this establishment. The tradition of storing meats inside the cold storage cellar continued. Prackle continued running a successful business until his death on December 15, 1881, at the estate sale of Harmon Prackle in January of 1882. It was sold in connection with Prackle's wife Celinda Prackle to Edward R. Jones, a resident of Hewing Creek, who became the new owner. It was Jones who brought in William H. Dunn as a co-owner in March of 1882. Together they organized the E. R. Jones Company, which controlled the ownership of the butcher market. Eventually, Jones sold his interest within the butcher market at Shasta to Eli Dack, and Dunn now had a new business partner, Valentine Dahl, my paternal great-great-great-grandfather, a pioneer resident of Eagle Creek, now Ono, who settled upon Hewing Creek, was a local miner and farmer who became interested in purchasing the city market and made it official with his brother-in-law, John Larkin. Their wives were sisters. Larkin was a resident of Centerville, and later he was elected to hold the office of Shasta County Coroner. In October of 1885, they purchased this butcher shop from William H. Dunn and Eli Dack. The two brothers-in-law then established its parent company called Dahl and Larkin. The city market was now known by both names, and they advertised their store from time to time as the best cut meat in western Shasta. The 1885 Business Directory of Shasta County was released to the public before Dahl and Larkin purchased the old stand, which is why they're not advertised in it. Edward R. Jones purchased the business company again in 1887 and succeeded Dahl and Larkin. After Jones owned and operated the city market, it went through a staggering amount of succession ownership changes, which gets very confusing. The cold storage cellar continued to be used by Jones and later owners as well. Records were not kept as to what the demise of the city market was, and its cold storage cellar now lies in ruins but is preserved by Shasta State Historic Park. Today nothing remains of the former city market which once stood on the lot in front of this hillside cavity. However, the cavity still remains but is closed off by the Shasta State Historic Park due to safety hazards.
This tunnel in the hillside on the south side of Main Street at Shasta leads to the remains of a 10 by 14-foot cold storage room, which is seen here.
And we are at the historic Shasta Masonic Cemetery, which was established in Shasta in 1864. We are visiting the grave and headstone of Lorenz Garrick and his wife, who are buried here.
In 1883, the pioneer Peter Hoff relocated from Shasta to Redding and established the Pioneer Meat Market in that town. It then became one of the best places to purchase meat in and around Shasta, even though the city market at Shasta was still in operation. And I am at Redding Memorial Park, finding the headstone and grave of Shasta County pioneer and local butcher Peter Hoff. Now, when I got here, these graves were extremely hard to find because they were practically covered in extremely tall grass. And so I spent some time clearing away at the headstones because they're flat ones on the ground here. And so I'm going to show you what it looked like before I got here, and I'm going to show you what it looked like after I did some work here. This is the headstone of Peter Hoff. It is practically covered in grass. These are the headstones of his son and wife. This is the Hoff family plot here. These two graves over here, where I'm pointing at, the farthest one, that's the grave of son John. This one is Peter Hoff Jr. Peter Hoff Sr. is buried over here. His son Joseph is buried next to him, and his wife Louisa Kuntz, K-O-U-N-T-Z, is buried right here. Pretty remarkable, right? Looks a lot different. And once again, this is Redding Memorial Park. Visiting the graves and headstones of John Larkin, He was co-owner with Valentine Dahl, my great-great-great maternal grandfather, in owning the Shasta City Meat Market. John is buried here. His wife Melissa is buried here. Up here at the Shasta Union Cemetery, also known as the Pioneer Union Cemetery, visiting the grave of Harmon Prackle, one of the owners of the Shasta City Meat Market. And we are at the historic Ono Cemetery in Ono, Shasta County, California. The cemetery was established in 1886, visiting the grave of Valentine Dahl, my great-great-great maternal grandfather, and his wife, Harriet Emma Smith Dahl, who was a sister of Melissa Smith Larkin, John Larkin's wife. John Larkin and Valentine Dahl both owned and operated the city meat market at Shasta. Alright folks, thanks for watching my YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.